Hello everyone, welcome to this 5th episode of my diorama building series. In this video I'll show you how I paint 3D printed trees and how I glue synthetic foliage on the upper branches to complete the effect. I'll also show you where I'm gonna place the trees on the diorama so they blend right in with the buildings. If you're new here, I've been documenting my journey to prepare and build the diorama for the 2023 Tabletop World Competition, and I'm thrilled to have you join me. Alright, let's plant some trees. To get started, I'm using those amazing 3D printed trees by Gothic Things. After printing them, I wash them and apply a zenithal highlight on the upper part of the trees. This will simulate a natural light effect and brighten out some of the texture. In this example, spray cans were used to prime the entire trees in black. Then a dark gray spray can was used to paint the upper part of the tree at an angle. And finally, a pale gray was sprayed directly on top of the branches. I also drill a hole under the trees so that I can attach a paper clip with super glue to make them easier to handle and dry. Now let's get to the fun part, painting. First, I'll apply a thin glaze of dark brown color diluted with water on the entire surface. Here I'm using Vallejo colors, but you can use your favorite brand of paint to achieve the same result. This will taint the primer and maintain the contrast between the dark and paler areas. Make sure the first layer is thin to avoid covering up the primer completely. While the trees are drying, I'd like to thank each of you who take the time to like and comment on my video. It's much appreciated. Okay, so once everything is dry, I dry brush the entire surface in a lighter tone of brown to bring out the texture of the bark. Here I take my time. This step is critical to adding depth and making the tree look realistic. Wow, I really like the texture on those trees. I do the same on the other two models. After that, I'll add some shading using Citadel Agrax Earth Shade diluted with water. A dark brown wash would also work well. Next, I do a beige dry brushing. If you're painting the end of a broken branch or part of a tree with a partially fallen bark, like on the Gothic Things Cursed tree, don't forget to add a lighter tone to those areas. Start with a beige base coat, followed by an ivory color dry brush. And finally, shade the outline with a shade or a liner. To create even more realism, it's time to add lichen to the trunk and the branches. You can use 2, 3 or even 5 different colors to represent various types of lichen. Common lichen colors include yellow, green, blue, gray and orange. I like to use an old brush and the stippling technique to apply the paint. If you're not familiar with the stippling technique, start with a color like green or brownish orange. These colors are forgiving, allowing you to practice before moving on to brighter hue, such as yellow and bright orange. To avoid any unwanted stain on the surface of the tree, it's important to use a light touch when applying the paint with your brush. Remember, the goal is to create dots by gently dabbing the brush. Repeat the process with the rest of the colors, starting with the darkest and gradually adding the paler colors. To imitate nature, It's best to apply more lichen on the trunk and less on the younger branches at the top of the tree. To add an extra touch of realism, I carefully attach green moss to the trunk of the trees. I'm always aiming to imitate nature as closely as possible, so I only glue moss on one side of the tree. Here in North America, moss mainly grow on the northern surface of the trees, which is less exposed to the sun and therefore more humid. Woodland Scenics offers a vast array of mosses, and for this project I've chosen a dark green color. To fix the moss, white glue or PVA glue can be used. Here I'm using super glue to speed up the process. Once the glue is dry, I gather the excess moss for later use. For the foliage, I've opted for filigree bushes from AK. I cut them into small sections and glue them to the tip of the branches with super glue. Now I'll integrate the trees on the base. To ensure the trees doesn't obstruct the view of the buildings, I arrange them carefully on the diorama. I also orient them all towards the fictitious north, with the moss on the trunks all pointing in the same direction. I don't glue the trees on the base yet, but when I do, I'll use super glue for a secure hold. That's about it. If you have any suggestion or different approach, feel free to share in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, show your support with a thumbs up and share it with other hobbyists. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials on painting and creating dioramas. In the next video, I'll show you how I add synthetic grass, bushes and flower to bring the rest of the diorama to life. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on painting and take care.